everyone, and welcome to the Postmodern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wilding the world over the platform they deserve. I am your host, Nathan Ragland, and for today's episode, I recommend you enjoy today's episode with a nice cup of joe, something that makes you feel nostalgic, warm, and cozy, just like the art of today's guests. Today's guest is Joanna Davidovich, an animator and illustrator whose retro art style and fun drawings have captured the art of her audience for years. Joanna is someone that I have truly loved and appreciated, mainly because one of the videos that we will definitely be talking about in this video, it's part of the reason why I was even interested in YouTube in general, and especially YouTube animation. So this was honestly like a very surreal conversation for me to have with someone that I couldn't help but love and admire for years. If you enjoy our guest, please make sure you support her with the links down in the description below. If you enjoy the podcast, make sure you like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. Leave 5 stars wherever you can. You know I see that stuff. You know it genuinely does make my day. But now, without further ado, please enjoy the Postmodern Art Podcast. Thank you so much for even doing this, by the way. It really is an honor and a pleasure to even have you on this podcast.
Thanks for inviting me. It's so kind of you to want to chat with me.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I think I mentioned this in the email that I sent you, or however I got in contact with you. But like literally, your video, Monkey Rag or whatnot, was one of the ones that even got me interested in animation on YouTube in the first place. Like it was yours. It was Caravan Palace's Lone Digger, and it was this one like indie short or college short film called There's a Man in the Woods. I don't know if you ever heard of that one or not.
Man, it sounds vaguely familiar.
But it was like if it wasn't for, like I said, Monkey Rag and those or whatnot, I probably wouldn't be as invested in animation, let alone indie animation online. So this is, I'm legitimately honest when I say this is an honor and a pleasure to even talk to you, let alone have you on the podcast.
Well, thank you. I'm so pleased to hear that you liked Monkey Rag and it made a difference for you.
Oh yeah, I imagine it made a difference for a lot of people, given the 6 million views it has at this point. I
know 6 million is like sort of viral these days.
Yeah.
Like, unless it has like 240 million, it's not really considered viral anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a little cartoon that almost could.
Yeah, there you go. So that's why I can't wait to talk about that, all that, and then some. So like I said, once again, thank you for taking the time to even do this.
Of course.
3, 2, 1. All right, Joanna, before we really do get going, I must ask the icebreaker question of the podcast, if I may.
Okay. Yes, you may.
Let's say you get to go to a, not desert island, but like a personal B&B paradise away from society for a little bit on your own, just to relax, kick back, really kind of get in a good mental headspace with all the amenities and everything. So it's not like, survivor mode or anything like that. To make sure you don't go completely insane on this island, you could bring one piece of media or one piece of art with you to help with whatever kind of headspace you want on this little paradise of yours. If given this opportunity, what would that one piece be?
Question.
Yes.
Am I allowed to have tap shoes?
Of course you can have tap shoes. I don't see why not.
Okay. And the media I would bring is Singing in the Rain so I can learn all of the dance numbers.
Oh.
But the tap shoes are
okay, you know what? I mean, I did say the amenities are there, so it's, and technically that's not media, the tap shoes alone, so it's definitely involved. I'm so curious now because obviously that's a great selection, just, Singing in the Rain in the first place, but why in particular you want to have that mentality of I can learn all the musical dance numbers?
Well, anybody can. It's just a matter of practice. If you're particularly talented at it, you learn it fast. If you're not so talented at it, you need several years on a desert island. So.
I mean, to be fair, you're on this island as long as you want to be. It's not like you're here for the rest of your life, but...
Oh, okay. Well, I wouldn't want to stay there for very long because I'd miss everybody.
That's valid. That's valid. I mean, we make sure that, the important people are alongside with you or whatnot. You have family, family and friends and such, like being able to visit and such. But again, like, you get to kick back, relax.
So my caveat would be just long enough so I can learn Moses supposes his toes are roses.
There you go.
And then I'm done.
There you go. That's a good mentality to have. But regardless, Singing in the Rain with the caveat of adding tap shoes to go along with it. That is your answer. You're locking that in.
Locked in.
Then if that's the
First
case,
thing that came to mind.
oh no,
First thing that comes to mind is always the right answer.
and you know what? I love that answer. I think that's probably one of the most creative answers I've had for that question since I've started this thing. But regardless, I cannot think of a better way to start the Postmodern Art Podcast. Welcome, everyone. I am your host, Nathan Ragland. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. You look fantastic in the merch that we have at the merch shop, fourthwall.com. Link to that is in the description below. And follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok, and most social media platforms at Postmod Art Pod for future updates and guest announcements, including today's guest. She is an animator and illustrator whose retro art style and fun drawing captures the heart of her audience, especially with the classic style animated music video Monkey Rag. Welcome to the podcast, Joanna Davidovich.
Thank you. Thank you. You're so good at this announcement thing. I need to learn how to do that. Anytime I do a live stream, I'm like, yeah, guys. I have to check this 1 second.
I mean, to be fair, I've done this podcast over 260 times at this point or something like that. So it's just kind of like muscle memory for me to just, get into that kind of mentality. Plus, I've always been a fan of giving that big bolsterous announcement. So it's just something I practice at the end of the day.
I know. I'm totally amped up now. I'm like, let's go.
Let's go. I guess that's probably the answer for this next question. How are you doing today, Joanna?
Let's go! I'm ready to tear it up. Ask me your questions.
Well, I'm ready as well. I mean, I know I said this a little bit earlier, whatnot, but sincerely, thank you for taking the time to do this. You're someone that I've always loved and admired the art you've been able to put out there, whether it be the animations that you've been able to be a hand in one form or fashion, the illustrations, or like even the kids' books and such. And seeing you continue to do that is just something that I can't help but love and appreciate. I'm so glad we're taking the opportunity to talk. But before we talk about the stuff you're doing nowadays, I want to go back just a little bit and learn more or less the origin story of Joanna. What got you interested in art and animation stuff in the first place?
I just always enjoyed drawing. I was the kid who drew in class. I mean, it's either been the kid or knows the kid is the one that draws. Mm-hmm. And I started drawing flamingos and mermaids. And I had a special... At the time, I didn't think it was particularly strange that I loved cartoons and animation so much, but I could watch and rewatch the same cartoons over and over again. Didn't care about live action unless it had cartoons in it, like Mary Poppins or Roger Rabbit.
Right.
But animation was something that held my attention in a way that was, I guess today you might call it autistic. But I would frame by frame, I would record things, I'd have my VHS cassettes. And the lovely thing about VHS back in the day is that you could have, if you had a special remote, you could step through one frame at a time.
Oh, okay.
And I remember just piloting that dial, just like, what is that? Just like smear frames and multiples. So it was a fine education before I knew I was learning anything doing it. And I don't know. I think there is something special about animation, especially before CG, when everything was traditional, when traditional wasn't even a word, it was just animation.
Right.
That it really distills human experience into something that's so accessible to everyone. And I think that's why, apart from the fact so much of animation is children's media, I think that's why generally people regard it as a media for children, because it's so accessible. There's no barrier, and children are drawn to it because it's so simple. And maybe, people on the spectrum are drawn to it in a particular way too, because it just blots out all the noise and says, this is what you need to know. This is how this character feels. You can read it from across the city. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes animation so unique and irreplaceable. And I wish there was more traditional going on, because I don't think that CG achieves that. Right. Because the fact that every frame is crafted, whether they had 100 hours or 1 minute to craft that frame, it's still there because somebody intended for everything in that frame to be there. And that's why I think it's particularly special. I think that's why it called out to me from a very young age, because little kids are just little plugs looking for a socket. Like, what can I get feedback from? And to me, animation communicated so beautifully, and it was so funny, and it was so, I love the Looney Tunes, chaotic, yes. Not Antarctica, anarchic. And And I think, it sounds pretty abstract, but I've spent too much time thinking about why I love cartoons. So that is my analysis of several decades of why I love cartoons.
I mean, to be fair,
short answer is like I was bored and it was on TV.
I mean, both are extremely valid answers, long and short at the end of the day. I mean, first off, I gotta say, I wish I had that kind of VHS that you were talking about, the one where you can just get like the frames or whatnot. Like that must have been a more high end one that your parents got at the end of the day.
Yep, it was programmable too. I learned to program it when I was 10.
Oh, wow. That is incredible. No, I mean, like, because I'm a kind of person to where I have like a similar love, at least when it comes to like the behind the scenes stuff, or like just focusing on the little details when it comes to like films and like animation and stuff. So like I related to that personally whenever you're talking about like just seeing how like going through each individual detail, seeing how exactly it's made, getting more involved in it and seeing how it kind of grown and progressed at the end of the day. Like that's the kind of stuff that I crave. So I think you and I are in the same, very similar boats when it comes to how we love and appreciate this craft at the end of the day. When did it for you go from just something that you loved and appreciated to a passion and really wanting to make it your career?
It's when I learned that people got paid to make cartoons.
Oh.
And I was like, why would you do anything else? It's not why I chose to do it. It was like someone explained to me what's better, and then I'll consider something else.
You know what? That's valid at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have that kind of, I mean, they've always said, if you do the thing that you love, you never really work a day in your life. Unfortunately, the IRS says other things, but that's a whole entire different issue.
Yeah.
But regardless,
well, also, yeah, I knew I had to figure out something of my own because my whole family came from a very athletic career background, and I just wasn't athletically gifted. I knew I was never going to the Olympics. Like when I was 8, I was like, that's not happening for me. So I have to figure out something else.
Well, it's good to know that at a young age you knew what you were destined not to do.
Exactly. That's half the battle.
That is half the battle or whatnot. And I imagine, especially once you learn that people actually made this thing a career, like I can only imagine how hardcore you kind of went into it and really wanted to invest yourself in that. Like, what was the process like for you to take those next steps to really get into the field?
Honestly, I wasn't too hardcore once I learned. I just sort of assumed it would happen. So I just like floated around for my childhood and early teen years. I got, at the time I was up and coming child. I don't know why I said it that way. We had this magical wonderland called the Warner Brothers Studio Store.
Oh,
and
okay.
In case you didn't glean, I was more of a Warner Brothers fan than a Disney fan. But I learned to correct my ways as I grew older and really came to love all of the Disney animation as well.
Right.
I mean, there's always a carve out for the films. I love the films, but for the cartoons, it's like Mickey Mouse is dumb. Bugs Bunny is cool. And I also blame Tom Ruegger a little bit for that because he injected all of this anti-Mickey propaganda in Tiny Toons and Animaniacs as well. And I wanted to fit in with the cool kids at Tiny Toons and Animaniacs, So like, yeah, Mickey's dumb. I don't like Mickey. I never laughed at a Mickey cartoon.
And then you get older and you realize, okay, that's a little much. That's a little much.
Yeah. So I warned you, I go on tangents anyway.
No, that's good.
So the Warner Brothers Studio Store had so many books there, and I got one book. This was my whole education in my youth. The one book I got was Chuck Amuck by Chuck Jones. Love Chuck Jones. He's always been my favorite. And after my education, I, learned to adore other animation greats as well, but Chuck Jones was everything for me for the beginning. And this book, have you ever read it, Chuck Amuck?
I have not. I didn't realize that Chuck Jones had like a book like that. I would kill for something like that.
It's very interesting. It's part autobiography, part historical record, part animation tutorial. Okay. It's just like all of his thoughts about his life and career in one book. And there's also a sequel called Chuck Redux, which was not. I should revisit it again because I remember reading it and I was like, meh, I'll just read Chuck Amuck again. And there was just something about his eloquence in explaining just how it all came together for him, because he talked about the origins of the coyote in his love for Mark Twain. And he had this passage about Mark Twain's description of a coyote, and that's what was in Chuck Jones's mind as he created Wile E. Coyote. Mm-hmm. And he also talked a lot about the other people at Warner Brothers Termite Terrace, all of the people in his unit, like Ken Virgins and Ben Washam, and just people you don't really think about because Chuck Jones is such a big name on the cartoon. But he talked about everyone else's talents as well.
Right.
And I know Chuck Jones has gotten accused of being very self-serving and kind of had a big head. I don't know, maybe. I know he and Maurice Noble kind of clashed towards the end of their careers. But I found the book to be really like world-opening to me.
Okay.
And I didn't know that his art school that he went to, Chenard, is the school that got turned into Cal Arts, because otherwise I would have wanted to go to Cal Arts like, with every fiber of my being. So because of that, I just, took a few art classes and cried what a crappy artist I was. And I was like, there was no cartoon or animation courses, which is probably a good thing because I do believe that people need a firm foundational study in order to build upon.
Right.
And I was just still terrible with my foundational skills. But one of my courses, the teacher said, you should look at the Savannah College of Art and Design. And I was like, okay.
Yes.
I just sort of floated along and just pursued that. I stayed in Atlanta for 1 year to go to the Atlanta College of Art, but I really didn't. Sorry, ACA. I didn't like it. I have some friends who are ACA grads who live and die by it.
To each their own. To each their own.
Yeah. And then I meandered to Savannah and finished my animation education there. But what really got me going in this career was my internship at a broadcast design studio called Primal Screen, which had just 2 years ago, or 2 years ago, I can't remember, closed its doors after 30 years. And it's so sad. I still get sad thinking about it. But that internship, I think, is where my actual education started.
Okay.
So I had enough fundamental skills in order to get along at doing commercials and broadcast. But that really launched me into becoming a freelancer and just learning to figure stuff out as I go, which I think is an underrated skill set.
It is a very underrated skill set at the end of the day.
Just like in other skills on my resume, can easily fly by the seat of her pants.
There you go. I mean, especially given how nowadays they want people to be kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Jack of all trades, master of none, or whatnot. Trying to get people out there. It's like, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Flying by the seat of your pants while you kind of know how to do a little bit of everything really does help at the end of the day.
It really does. Like I was doing an animatic for a climate. What is wrong with my mouth today?
Words are wonderful.
I guess I have geography on the mind. Climate, Antarctica. But a client needed an animatic done. And I put in like a little bit of character animation. Just some really, really sloppy, rough extremes.
Right.
But they were so impressed that I was able to do just like a rabbit hopping or a deer walking. And it really, made me look good that I had a couple of skill sets that I could smush together.
Absolutely. I imagine like that kind of the understanding of that kind of goes back to that love, obviously seeing how you basically had the Chuck Jones book as kind of, I don't want to say like a Bible, but more like a pamphlet that kind of led the way for how you kind of go forth when it comes to animation and such. And
no, I think that's a fair analogy. It's like my animation Bible.
The animation Bible. There we go. I didn't want to go that far. I didn't want to put words in your mouth. That's the thing.
No, I don't think that denigrates the Bible. It elevates Chuck-a-Muck.
Exactly. There we go. I also want to say I do appreciate that you have a good love for the classics, especially like you're talking about the Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes, all that kind of stuff. In particular, I think a lot of people that have followed you for years at this point know just how big of an Animaniacs fan that you are or whatnot. What was it about?
I don't think it's a secret.
What was it about like the classic Warner Brothers and like Animaniacs and such? What was it about that animation stuff that just grabbed your attention and made you want to go down that path even more?
I feel like a really long lecture coming on. I'm going to try and keep it short. What I loved about the Warner Brothers legacy in particular, and which is not to say that Disney doesn't do this as well, but Warner Brothers in particular really pays homage and tribute to a comedy tradition. Going back to the films, going back to screwball comedy, going back to radio, going back to novelty music like Spike Jonze and Raymond Scott, going back to vaudeville, going back to like the first popular touring acts.
Yes.
You know, there is such a very forgotten and dusty but still very important history of comedy that I wish more people respected, because as it is now, people say, that's just a hokey old joke, or that's slapstick, or that's, dumb physical comedy.
Right.
But these traditions have been around for like hundreds of years, and they stick around because they work. The rule of threes, setup, payoff, these things are around still for a reason. And I think, you know how like comedy sucks now?
Yeah. Yes, it can.
I don't think that's controversial to say, because there was like a disconnect from that tradition. Like, yeah, you can riff on traditional themes for sure. You can do your own thing. You can, break things apart and glue them back together again, or leave them scattered around. And we have a thing called anti-comedy now, which is stuff that's just meant to make you feel uncomfortable, but that's classified under comedy.
Yep.
But nobody does like comedy anymore. And what I love about Warner Brothers is that they were terrific plagiarists. They were just, and I mean that in the best way.
Oh yeah.
They took so many elements from, like I said, like radio and vaudeville and like totally ripping off Spike Jonze in some cases. But it's wonderful because they made these beautiful little time capsules about what like the energy and how I'm losing myself. I'm at a loss for words. But people were able to have these touchstones through the Warner Brothers cartoons. How many people do you know are familiar with these classical pieces of music because of Looney Tunes?
Right.
Because they saw Bugs Bunny doing the barbershop thing to Elmer Fudd. Or they know Ride of the Valkyries because of Kill the Wabbit, Kill the Wabbit. And the Looney Tunes cartoons does this as well for comedy beats.
Yeah.
And what was wonderful about the Rugerverse is that they just extended that tradition. They didn't make new Looney Tunes cartoons. I think it's impossible to make new quality Looney Tunes cartoons. We don't have the technology anymore. But you can still respect those comedy traditions and try and give a new flavor to them. And I think that's what Tiny Toons and Animaniacs did so brilliantly. Mm-hmm. And yes, I know that there's this big, is it controversial? I don't know. It's like Spumco versus the 90s Warner Brothers cartoons. Spumco never wrote down scripts, and the ones done at Warner Brothers in the 90s were very scripted. Everything started on a script, and boards were boarded based on scripts. And I know that's, shame on you for writing things down. But I still think that the 90s Warner Brothers cartoons held on to that tradition way better than anything Spumco created. And I know I'm just not a fan of Spumco, and I recognize the artistry behind it. But I think that there is some serious mental illness going on in there that has never really been addressed. And I think that's reflected in a lot of the content that came out of Spumco.
Right.
And not to throw shade at mental illness, but I just mean like it has to be addressed.
Right.
And also the skeeziness of John Kay.
Oh yeah, no. I was gonna say like you look at John Kay alone, and that's probably where most of that mental illness that you were talking about probably needs to be examined a million different ways to help him.
He really, not to derail this and make it about John Kay, but he really affected a lot of people around him.
Oh yeah.
Or infected as like a mind virus. Yeah. I just want to mention that because a lot of people say that the Warner Brothers spirit was kept alive by all of the Clampett devotees at Spumco. But I love Bob Clampett, but I don't think that Spumco was particularly good at paying homage to Bob Clampett because, yeah, he was unhinged, but he also respected the comic traditions. There are setups and payoffs, and he did not do elaborate gross-out gags that Spumco made popular, like elaborate, like the really drawn out, gross out gags are just so much animation today in the last few years, and people always say like, "Oh, it's because of Bob Clampett." I'm like, it's not because of Bob Clampett.
It's not because it's like that stuff has kind of been there in many different aspects and many different avenues. Clampett was just probably one of the more recognizable names behind it.
Yeah, Clampett, like, he pushed the envelope for absolute sure. But I don't think that you can hide your gross out proclivities wrapped in the flag of Bob Clampett.
Yep.
That's just my thing.
No, that's valid, and especially seeing, like you were talking about when it comes to Warner Brothers, not just with, you know, the Rugerverse or whatnot, but like throughout the history, like you were talking about. I mean, clearly you could see, like you were talking about, like how they took some of the classic comedy beats or whatnot, and not only like made it, gave it to a new audience, but found a way to really punctuate just how good it is, how good the comedy can be. I mean, the fact that we both sang "Where's the or there's the wabbit, there's the the fact that we could do that tells you how well that like comedy transcends or whatnot at the end of the day.
It does. Yeah. And again, it's not just about having a new joke. It's about learning how to craft a joke in the first place.
Yes.
So I would much prefer to hear a joke that I know the punchline to, that's well delivered, than a new joke that's just not very good. and it's just, unfortunately, I just don't think, it's just very rare that I see good jokes in cartoons and in live action these days.
I mean, that's valid. That's a valid that's a valid thing to say, given kind of how comedy has even evolved and what people even consider comedy, how the audience has kind of changed to what they want to see or whatnot. I mean, obviously there's still elements of like the classic comedy out there. I mean, one of the big movies that everyone's hyped up about that by the time this episode comes out will be right around the corner, Coyote versus Acme. I mean, trust me, I'm excited to see that. I'm also excited to see like how they both blend like the classic Looney Tunes, but also like kind of include all the newer nuances that they want to include with it, because it looks like a fun film at the end of the day.
It does look. The trailer moved me.
Yes.
The trailer made me have a little tear. It was like, I believe it. He's the hardest working coyote I know. Like,
yes.
He is. He's very hardworking. And I think the brilliant thing, I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet,
right,
but I know it's got really good vibes. Like the audience, when was the last time you heard an audience test screening that was great?
Yeah.
Like usually like, well, the audience hated it, we're releasing it anyway.
Yeah.
And this was the opposite, where it's like the audience loved it, bury it forever. This is my love-hate relationship with Warner Brothers. It is such an abusive relationship because the people who run Warner Brothers are jerks.
Yeah.
They're just jerks who don't care about animation. And it's not just Zaslav. It started long before him.
Oh, yeah.
I was writing letters to Warner Brothers when I was still a kid. And I was just like, how can you cancel it? That's why I was really against Pokemon for the longest time, because I knew that they were canceling all of the shows I loved to import like cheap anime that all they need to do is redub.
Right.
And I like nothing against anime and dubbing and just like everything. It's just like Warner Brothers, you can do both.
Yeah, you can do both.
You can have both. And you can create your legacy, and you can create franchises that will give you, money-making opportunities indefinitely into the far-flung future. Or you can just throw it all into the trash.
Or you can just throw it all in the trash.
Which is what they do with everything. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's like the best things that Warner Brothers produces is when the higher-ups aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
When they're just like, just do a thing. We're going to go have a... I don't know what they do. I have an idea what they do in Hollywood. I don't want to know. But
we're gonna buy our 30th yacht and just celebrate like we all get out on that one,
Yeah, we're gonna go yachting for a month, and when we come back, maybe have something to put in theaters or on TV.
There you go.
And then it's gonna be good.
I think I can speak for a lot of people in the audience where we all have that love-hate relationship when it comes to Warner Brothers. Like, like obviously, it's definitely flared up a lot more since the mergers and stuff have really made it a lot more obvious how things go down. So
I don't know. It's like at this point, what's the point of even getting angry? It's not gonna get better. Like, there's no good options anymore.
Like the only thing that's gonna really stop them is the government, and that's saying a lot.
I still don't think anyone's going to give proper respect to the Looney Tunes and their animation legacy. It's so frustrating that Warner Brothers they have all these amazing characters, the most recognizable and beloved characters in the history of human cognition, and they don't care. They don't care.
Oh, I know. It's always so frustrating. It always is.
Yeah.
But
I will say one thing: if anyone from Warner Brothers is listening, I know I'm never going to get hired by you guys. I've come to peace with that. I am okay with it. But please listen to me, and just hire Paul Dini to revamp your DC cinematic universe. Just let him do it. Why? Just give it all to him.
So in particular, James Gunn, I hope you're hearing this.
Boy, what a disappointment he turned out to be. Gosh, I've got disappointed mom face every time I hear that about James Gunn. I'm like,
yep.
I expected so much more of you.
Honestly, that's extremely valid. But I will say, I'm glad that you obviously have that major love when it comes to obviously Warner Brothers and that stuff, because that's definitely something that I definitely see you put forth into the art that you make and like the career you've gone forth or whatnot. I can only imagine what it was like starting out. I know you talked about the internship, but I can only imagine what it was like for you starting out, like getting an opportunity to get your toes wet and actually get into that animation field. Like, what was it like for you starting out trying to get animation like to be the thing that you live off of?
Well, I mean, that internship was great. Right after college, they hired me right back, and I was salaried for about a year, but then they were downsizing, but I stayed on as a freelancer. And at that time, there were several studios around town that I would just hop from studio to studio doing commercials and broadcast bumpers and promos and things. And also it was like probably the last chance in the universe to draw on paper. At that time we were still drawing on paper.
Right.
And I have delusions that I will return to paper.
I noticed that beautiful light table in the background. Trust me, I was gonna bring it up, especially when we talk about monkey rags. So.
And I have to mention, it is not my light table. It is my husband's. He just lets me use it.
There you go. I'm pretty sure that technically, legally counts that as yours. Technically,
legally, half of it is mine now.
There you go.
But I have to give him credit that he's the one who found that and kept it all these years.
Well, there you go.
Long enough for me to I did do monkey rag on that disc, on that table. And for my future projects, when I get around to them, I want to at least do the pencils on there again.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but speaking of monkey rag, when you do the thing that you love for a living, you don't really get to do the thing that you love. You don't really get to do the thing you want to do. You're always got a client to please. You're not drawing the characters you want to draw.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good education for me because I learned how to turn things around really, really, really fast and not labor over something. And I learned what good enough was. Good enough is perfect when you have a deadline.
Yeah, that valid.
And I learned to draw a lot of different characters really, really quickly. And I still wanted to make my own cartoons, though, and that's what Monkey Rag was, where I would just work on that in the evenings and on weekends. And it took a really long time.
Oh, yeah.
And which is why I never quite recovered from that, because right after Monkey Rag, I was like, I need to have our family now. Otherwise, if I make another cartoon, we will never have kids. So that's been our project for the last decade. But
hey, you know what? Respect at the end of the day.
And it's just like one of those things where like I could spend every day of my life drawing and not realize that, I'm dying and that time is passing. And so, children are a really great way to gauge the passage of time as well.
Yeah, you know what? Because like you said, it's been at least a decade at this point since the family thing has started or whatnot. If that doesn't tell you that, hey, I have a good grip on what my time is like or whatnot, I don't know what else will, Yes.
And you learn time is precious. And I used to say yes to absolutely everything, like any free thing. Like I want to draw for people. I want to animate for people. I want to do things collaborative. And so anytime somebody comes at me with like a cool collab, I'm like, I can't. Sorry. I don't have enough life force.
Valid.
I'm old and I'm tired. Did I answer the question?
Yeah,
I
no,
was
yeah.
doing good up until that
No,
point.
no, no. You did. I was actually gonna move on talking about like when it comes to some of the early work or whatnot. Like I as I was doing my research and seeing some of the things that you had a hand in, I did not realize that I grew up somewhat on some of your stuff or whatnot. Mainly the one that jumped out at me. I did not realize you had a hand in some of those Cocoa Puffs commercials or whatnot back in
Those are my favorite.
Oh,
Those were the
really?
times they really, really wanted expressive animation, so they let us have a little more time. And so I think at that time, a lot of Cocoa Puffs commercials were handled by either Renegade in Glendale
Okay.
or Calabash in Chicago. And I would just pore over those commercials and just seeing how they make it so snappy and fluid. And I learned a lot by having to try and replicate that. And I didn't think I was that slow, but one of my directors was like, you're slow, but your work is good. I'm like, oh.
Well, thanks? Question mark.
Thanks. I was trying to be fast. But look at the secondary action on his head feathers.
There you go. There you go. Like I appreciate the fact that like you mentioned right off the bat that was like probably your favorite because I can understand like getting the chance to really with a character like that at the end of the day, willing to be expressive and just have fun and go as crazy as the character can go crazy when it comes to that. Like it totally makes sense why that's some of the favorite. I just like I said, as I was doing the research, I saw that kind of stuff. I'm like, I totally forgot about these commercials, but that instant nostalgia hit me whenever I saw them. I mean, because for context, I hate to put this out there. When I was born in '96, so I'm 30 years old at this point. So like that's kind of like the era of like I was seeing that kind of stuff. So yeah.
All right. I just can't believe people were born in the 90s. And
it's so rare to find them these days, I
know. It's like finding, a still living dinosaur or dodo, just like so precious, so rare.
No, absolutely. So like I said, like seeing that kind of stuff as well as some of the other commercials that you had a hand in or whatnot. Again, like it's really cool to know that like, especially starting out, that was some of the opportunities, but I can also understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, how you had mentioned it or whatnot, working for a client or whatnot, you didn't really get a chance to do what you loved or whatnot. Like you're doing what you love, but not what you loved or whatnot.
Well, I think every student has that kind of vague notion that someone's just going to pay me to draw whatever I want. And yeah, maybe I'll have to do some stuff for clients, but mostly I'll get to do my own stuff.
Nope. That's not always the case. That's not always the case.
No. Yeah. But you still have to try and do things on your own time that keep you excited because you will hit burnout pretty fast. I knew some people who burned out, very talented people, but they were working on shows and shows consume you and just like I got to check up on this one particular friend I'm thinking of because he like after 15 years he just moved to Virginia and like went fishing.
Hey.
I haven't checked up on him since. So I'm like, I wonder how he's doing.
Well, if he's listening to this, hi, hope you're doing well.
Yeah, hi Sam.
There you go. But but given like the context of that, I can see how that could potentially lead to you wanting to go forth and make something of your own, particularly the one animated music video that I think a lot of people would know you for at this point. Let's talk about Monkey Rag, because I really want to talk about this more than anything else. What even inspired you to go forth and make this fun, ridiculous music video based on a song from the Amity Street Spankers?
Asylum Street Spankers.
Asylum Street. Why did I write that down wrong? Asylum Street Spankers.
That's fine. No, they are a band who I really loved, and I would play their music all the time. And that song particularly had a cartoon unfold in my head. And it was so, every time I heard it, I just saw the cartoon play out. It was like no big deal to board it out. It took me like an hour or two to board it out on little, I think I might still have the little Post-it notes I boarded it all out on. I always keep it nearby.
Oh.
But yeah, it took no time to board it out because I knew what the cartoon had to be and I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I just had to make it, which is, it's a good way to make the voices in your head stop. You get them outside of your head. Yeah,
exactly. It's good to kind of translate it from what's going on in here to something that's a little bit more, I guess, productive at the end of the day than having it fester.
So other people can see your thoughts. Like I guess that's literally what it is. Like I love these thoughts so much. I wish you could see them. I'm going to spend 4 years.
I think that's just art in general.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I mean, again, like for those that haven't seen it or whatnot, like I first off, I encourage you. It's going to be one of the links in the description below, or at least to Joanna's channel at the end of the day. Like what was like the main inspiration? Like what went into making this thing a reality? Like what truly made you want to like go forth and be like, you know what? I have this idea. Let me just make this a reality. Go with the classic style, do these silly characters. Like what was the ultimate like inspiration for it?
Well, I had a drawing that I just of the main characters. I just drew them out one day just to see what they look like in reality. Reality outside of my head.
Right.
And once they sort of took shape and the visuals coalesced better in my brain, like I just wanted to, and I had no idea how long it was going to take. I thought maybe 6 months. If I had known that I would be, devoting a good chunk of my life to it, I don't know if I would have started, but I hate leaving projects unfinished, she said, as she has a dozen projects unfinished. But at that time, I had the wherewithal to actually finish my unfinished projects.
There you go. And for context for people that be wondering, like I said, you thought it was going to be 6 months. How long did it actually take you to go from start to finish on that?
About 4 years.
4 years. Like, goodness.
Yeah. And then I had these delusions that it was gonna take me places, so I really wanted to take it to festivals and make contacts in the industry. And to some degree, it did open doors for me, but not the way I had hoped.
Right.
So, yeah.
I imagine like connections were still made, obviously, especially when you're getting your name out there and you're trying to get to different festivals. But I can understand the leaps that you were hoping to take with it. I mean, regardless, at the end of the day, like I illustrated earlier on, is a fantastic and lovely music video that I still go back to every here and then, just because it's left such a strong impression, mainly because like it has a kind of like it has the Warner Brothers feel to it in a way, and
it's kind of like if Warner Brothers animated Betty Boop.
Yeah, basically. Well, I mean, because like you can certainly tell that there's like the love for just the classic animation, especially with like the art style that kind of gives me like I'm trying to think what exactly the company is called, like UPA, like the 50s-esque style or whatnot.
It's a mashup of a ton of classic animation that I love. I wasn't trying to really emulate Warner Brothers. I wasn't trying to make a Betty Boop cartoon. I was just like going through the grocery store, picking out my favorite animation items and putting them in the shopping basket. Yeah. And I'm like, I could go home and make a cartoon pie.
Yeah, exactly. Nice little, it's not necessarily I'm going to copy this style. It's literally what any artist is, which is an amalgamation of all the stuff that they love really being put forth into something incredible. And I mean, like, especially with the wonderful song from the Asylum Street Spankers. I'm gonna make sure I don't butcher that again. But like a combination of that and like the love that you clearly have when it comes to cartoons led to such a fantastic video that I can only imagine once you got it out there, whatnot. Did you anticipate the kind of like semi-viral success that it had? Like, did you expect so many people to love it, especially up to this day?
It's a surprise to me that it's been so enduring, and yet it also feels like I just finished it because I'm still tired. But like I said, it gave me some opportunities I wouldn't have otherwise had. But I had these delusions that I was going to get a show, I was going to get, I was going to be somebody, and I don't know. It left me with a little bit of a bitter feeling because it didn't do well at festivals. Like, I got some terrible feedback from it. And generally, industry-wise, the feedback I got was, that's pretty cool. What else did you do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like so deflated. I remember taking it to CTN Expo and taking it to Pixar and Disney and just hoping that their socks were going to be blown off and they'd offer me a job. And they were like, well, we don't really do this stuff anymore. So, they didn't even say anymore. Like, we don't really do this. Mm-hmm. So good luck. And like all of the official industry responses I got were like, you're cute. keep going, you know. Like,
My heart is breaking for you right now, just hearing this kind of stuff. Like,
it's just reality. It's like you got something to sell, but you know, I didn't know my audience. I didn't make it to please them. I thought they would just, you know, they would like it because I liked it. And because it was so inspired by the legacies of all of these studios that I would have just loved to contribute to some wonderful production. Like, I see these legends at the conventions who worked on, like, Little Mermaid and Aladdin, Lion King, and all these amazing films. And, like, what must that feel like to be part of something that big and important and special? Like, it must be like, I can't even imagine. Just you're so satisfied that you've contributed something wonderful to the world that you just must feel okay forever. Like, that's how I imagine it feels. Like, every morning you're like, I worked on Little Mermaid. And every night you go to sleep and like, I worked on Lion King.
Yep.
You know, like,
No, I mean, like,
so I'm sure it's not like that, but that's like my delusional brain thinks that's what it's like. So to be rejected from all of the places that I love the most was just really it took a chunk out of my spirit, and which is why I didn't really start anything big like that. And I was like going into the whole thing like, gosh, am I gonna spend my whole life chasing after the approval of these people? Am I gonna sacrifice having a family because I want Disney to like me? And I was like, when I thought of it in those terms, it didn't seem rational to keep trying. So I just sort of hunkered down and do what I can do to pay the bills. Yeah. And if I come around to it, and I am going to come around to making cartoons again.
There you go.
Yeah, but it was, you know, those stories of people who are overnight successes? I'm like a long-term not success. I don't want to say failure because I don't think of myself that way.
Right.
But it was like a really long slog for like crawling through the desert, like hoping for the oasis, and someone's like, here, have a lollipop. And it's just like, well, that's not why I did this, but okay.
No, but I can imagine.
Not to sound depressing or anything, it did help me make personal connections. I know a ton of artists that I like admired my whole life.
Yeah. That
because I did Monkey Rag, they wanted to talk to me, and it's like those relationships have been so meaningful to me and so important, and I learned so much. Like I mentioned Tom Ruger before, but I'm able to ask Tom Ruger questions. I just got some feedback from him on some project I've been working on for at least 4 years. But
oh, you making Monkey Rag too? No,
well, actually, I do. I do want to do another one. I have the song picked out, but I have to do a new recording because it's not any one particular recording. And also, I ran into some trouble with YouTube monetization because I didn't have the rights. I had festival rights to the song from This Spankers, but we had to work something out for revenue share, and it was just a pain. So I want to do an original recording, so I have to get back into jazz mode, meeting a lot of musicians. I want to record something, a new recording of an old song. It's just such a cute song. Oh, my God. And the same thing is happening with that song, though, where I see the cartoon, and I have to make it happen. So it will happen. Not soon, but it will happen. And I learned a lot from Monkey Rag. I would maybe change a few things, like maybe not ink on paper, find a way to not have to scan, because my poor husband, he put so much effort into learning how, like he had to invent a new technique for scanning, because we batch scanned all of the animation, and the programs that said that they allowed for batch scanning were lying.
Right.
So much so that we had representatives from Toon Boom come to our house because they were in town doing workshops. They're like, please help us. It's not working. and he was like, oh, that feature actually doesn't work. We're like,
thanks. That would have been nice to know before I started going down this path.
Yeah. And thus began my lifelong vendetta against Toon Boom. Anyway, I just wanted to clarify, it's like I'm not upset about Monkey Rag, but it speaks to the idea that, you know, everyone has dreams.
Right.
But sometimes dreams don't work out the way you think they will, and it's okay to change your dreams. Like Monsters University. I loved that movie because I loved the message of that. Everyone dumps on that movie, but like that's a really unique and important message.
It is.
That I think needs to be said. Like sometimes everyone has dreams, but that doesn't make your dreams special or give you the right to have them. Sometimes you need to change which star you're aiming for.
Yeah.
And as long as you keep trying, like changing your navigation, like you're gonna get someplace good.
Oh no, absolutely.
And, yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I imagine, especially for you, like, obviously, Monkey Rag didn't get you to the places that you were certainly hoping to go, but it's not like it took you nowhere. It certainly got you places. The fact that it got you some opportunities working, either freelance or even stuff that you probably didn't anticipate. Like, I bet you probably didn't anticipate, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I bet you didn't anticipate being an illustrator for children's books as done by the guitarist for the Zac Brown band.
Oh yeah, Coy Bowles.
Yes.
That was he's wonderful. And that actually came about because I was working with his friend, with my friend Brian DeTagios, at Turner Animation. Well, it wasn't Turner Animation; it was Turner Broadcasting's animation department.
Yep.
And D-Tag was doing. Sorry, Brian. We all call him D-Tag. D-Tag.
That's fair.
He was doing some animation. I'm all over the place.
You're good.
He was doing some children's books and couldn't continue on, so he recommended Coy to contact me.
Okay.
And that started a really great relationship. And Coy is awesome, and he's we did 3 books together, and I really love the Little Red Door books, and I like being able to send them to the children of my friends who really like the books too.
Well, I'm curious because I seeing how that first step kind of got to, but like, what was it like being able to kind of bring Coy's vision to life in illustration form or whatnot? Because I can only imagine what it must have been like to try to go into illustration and really bring these characters and bring this scenario to life.
I didn't find it all that different from animation. Just
okay.
It's less work than making a cartoon. It's like, instead of drawing something thousands of times, I only have to do it maybe 50. That seems like a good deal. But of course, there's more it's a different way to compose the spreads is different from how you would compose a shot, and making sure that text is going to be readable and flow properly.
Right.
And it was also an education in myself. I'd never done a children's book before, and so I was sort of figuring it out as I went along. And I look at the early books and I'm like, oh God. And at least I know now not to do that. I know my mistakes now, and I'm still not terrific at it, but I at least know that I know what not to do.
I mean, you say you're not terrific at it, but I will say you say you're not terrific at it, but I would argue against that because honestly, the illustrations or whatnot, they are very lovely. They're very cute. I mean, like, I think they really do a good job setting the tone for the book at the end of the day. And I can see why Coy wanted to keep going to you when it comes to not just after the first book, but like the ones afterwards or whatnot. So.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind.
No, absolutely. And obviously, again, like I said, that's one ounce of freelancer work. I can only imagine some of the other projects. In fact, one of the ones in particular I wanted to bring up because it's actually this project that got you back into my mind in the first place and wanted to get you on the podcast. I was super surprised.
Oh, no.
I was super surprised. Oh, no.
I know what it is.
Do you think you know what it is?
I know what it is. Should I write it down and we'll see if I'm right?
Yes. Okay. You go ahead. Write it down.
This is me doing my mind reading.
Okay, mind reading.
Okay.
No, I'm going to
do the Great Karnak.
That's a great reference. I'm glad you got that. I was surprised to see that you had a hand animating a segment for the upcoming indie animated pilot. Hey.
Oh, I was wrong. That's not what it was.
What were you thinking it was? What?
Nothing.
I mean, we could talk about it as well, but no, like, because no, I was gonna say because I'm good friends with Tariq, terrific Tariq, who's the one that's making it, and whenever he was advertising the Kickstarter for it, I saw one of the things of like animated by Joanna, and I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot. I even talked to Tariq about it and mentioned the fact that like, oh yeah, I was a huge fan of Monkey Rag back in the day. He's like, yeah, me too. That's part of the reason why I got in contact with her. So
no, I was just so impressed with his pilot. And I thought the characters were well defined, and their interactions were interesting. The jokes were good, and I like the theme song too. Theme songs are important.
Yes.
People don't do enough theme songs anymore, and I just wanted to do what I could to help. I didn't have much time, but I did like one little shot. But I think he's got something really special, and clearly a lot of people agree, because I think his Kickstarter was funded in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, something like
still
that.
Climbing. Yeah.
Like it was immediately funded.
Yes. Because it's just really good, and it feels like a throwback. It feels like an actual show with the beginning, middle, and it like it has act 1, act 2, act 3. It's like structured, and it's just delicious, and I wish it all the success in the world.
No, absolutely. Trust me. As someone that is a huge, fan of Hay in the first place, but also a friend of Tariq's, I want to see it have all the success in the world. And even then, like getting to see,
very talented.
Oh no, absolutely, and especially getting to see you have like even just a small, print on the entirety of it all or whatnot. Like, it's really cool that even to this day you're still having this incredible impact and this incredible opportunity to really, get out there and really showcase that love for animation that you've had years on up to this point when it comes to your art journey. I mean, even taking a step back, like thinking to where you were whenever you were a kid, messing around with the special remote control and seeing all the smear frames and whatnot, to here you are right now, in a very unique place with a loving family behind you and incredible opportunities. Does it surprise you more or less how far you've been able to develop as an artist?
I still feel like I just started. I feel like any minute now, I'm just going to really get going. So, I don't know. It is something to look back at my archives. I've been doing that a lot recently, looking back at my old drawings. And there's something bittersweet about it, because as you grow, you also lose things along the way. And I think it's important to keep reflecting on what you came from, so that you don't lose. I don't know, there's like a little spark of something. Maybe it is that bitterness creeping in, but there's just so much more journey to have. I don't really feel like I've gotten anywhere. You know what I mean?
No, I get where you're coming from. It's kind of one of those, like, if nothing else, you're still on that journey at the end of the day. It's not like,
oh yeah,
it's not like you're at a point where you can look back and be like, yep, I've done everything I need to do. No, it's like you're still on that journey. I don't go to sleep at night
and be like, I worked on Lion King.
Not yet.
Not yet. My Lion King is in the future somewhere.
Absolutely. Oh no, trust me. I cannot wait for that opportunity to where you can look back and be like, yep, that is my Lion King. That is my Little Mermaid. That is my Animaniacs or whatnot, like getting an opportunity to work on that kind of stuff.
And not just work on something, but really make a contribution, like really put my heart and soul into something collaborative and special. Because I love being able to do like a little scene here and there, but like if I wasn't part of Hay, you wouldn't notice, It's true. I'm so minuscule in the quality of the production. I want to be part of something in a meaningful way. You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're talking about. I completely understand at the end of the day, and I think you've done a good job with that and then some. And I'm certainly excited for whatever opportunities you can get to go further and do more and get more incredible opportunities, because you've done a fantastic job so far with anyone that can look back on what we've done. I mean, we've talked for almost an hour about all the incredible stuff you've had a hand in at this point. So for this next question, if I may, what if I go a little...
I'm sorry. I just had this image. I'm like a Forrest Gump of YouTube animation.
That is an interesting thought. Like, imagine, like, I get what you're getting at, but I'm thinking of like the literal
show up in the corner. Like with Nixon.
That was gonna be like my joke. It's like I imagine like a literal, like someone being like the Forrest Gump and appearing in all these like highly well known indie animated stuff or whatnot, and they just don't realize it or whatnot that they're a part of it in one form or fashion. But for this next question, if I may, Joanna, what if I gave you more or less the dream scenario that you've always hoped for? Let's say I am Big Shot Mr. Moneybags. I come up to you and I'm like, look, Joanna, we have seen the incredible work that we've had over the years. I know it may seem frustrating, but we've noticed it. We were just waiting for the right opportunity to let you know that we think that there's something incredible here. You just need a little extra push, a little extra platform to get you to that point. We have access to everyone and anyone in whatever industry possible, and more money than there should be possible. We probably should be giving it back to the animators, make sure they can have like a good living wage, be able to afford healthcare and all that kind of stuff. Hashtag same with animation forever and always. That's part of the deal. Like whatever you say, that's going to be part of the deal as well. If given this opportunity, what would be the dream Joanna Davidovich project?
It just occurred to me. I've got a lot of ideas for shorts. I have an idea that I really, really hope to do someday for a series. Lots of different series, but the way you said it right now, I really want to do the canceled Betty Boop movie.
Yes. Ooh.
Concept for that. Like, dang, I would love to work on that. Oh man, just like make it. Did you know they made a Betty Boop Broadway musical?
Right. And I think they're also making that. I think they're also making that into a movie as well, if I remember correctly, like a live action movie. Yeah. But yeah.
I saw some clips from it, from songs. I'm like, it doesn't feel like Betty Boop. It feels like, like Betty Boop is iconic in that a lot of people have her magnets and stickers, but they don't really have a flavor for the cartoons. Like there's different eras of Betty. And I actually quite like her boring era too, where it was just like the Sally Swing cartoon, it's just like there's nothing much going on there, but it's just still fun.
It's got a nice charm to it.
It does have a nice charm to it. And I saw this stuff in the music. I was like, this doesn't sound like Betty Boop music. It doesn't sound like Betty Boop singing. It's like it doesn't look like Betty Boop. There's like a bit in the beginning of the musical where they like have Grampy there and it's black and white, which is it's okay, but I really want that flavor to come through. I want that spirit to come through. And also I have this weird particular what's the word? Pet peeve. I hate it when they show cartoon characters or magical creatures desperately wanting to come to the real world. I hate that. It's just like, no, it's the other way around. Reality sucks. We want to go to Fantasyland. Like, when did that switch?
Yeah, so there are so many cartoon worlds that if I had the opportunity to jump through or whatnot, I would not hesitate for a second. Love you guys.
Oh, I know. Like, in a minute, I'd be in the world of Avatar.
Yeah.
Not the blue cat people.
No, yeah.
Airbender.
The Airbender people. Trust me, I knew exactly what you meant by that.
Just had to be clear. But it's like, so the conceit of the show as well was like, it rankled me. So when I saw the concept art for the canceled Betty Boop movie, it looked so much like Betty Boop.
Yeah.
Like her dancing with the demons and trying to get out and the moodiness of like there's like a weirdness and a sweetness to Betty Boop that I think has an audience today. And I just like with the musical, it's like it feels so generic that it annoys me. And I know a lot of people, particularly Jerry Beck, saw the musical and sang its praises. So maybe it is amazing, and I just don't have the $250 to throw down on a Broadway ticket. But
right,
I still have a feeling it's going to be one of these things that annoys me. At this point in my life, I do have one thing. I know when something's going to make me mad. So I can avoid the movies and TV shows that will make me mad.
That's valid.
Or upset. And I've got a pretty good track record for this at this point. So I kind of feel like I don't need to see more. I've seen enough.
Right.
It's not my Betty Boop. It's not what everyone should know Betty Boop as. Just right now, I really feel like people are ready for real Betty Boop. Like, Cuphead came close. It was popular, like, creating this aesthetic that people glommed onto. They just didn't have jokes. They didn't have any visual interest going on. It was just like, we look like a 1930s cartoon. Woo! And I'm like, but you need to actually be a cartoon. You can't just... I don't know. I had my problems with that show as well. It was like it came so close. There was so much artistry put into it.
Oh,
just like a little more in the writing, Like we need like people who know comedy history.
Yeah.
See, I'm bringing it back. Comedy history, comic beats. rules that you can break, expectations that you can play with. And it's just so frustrating because so many things come so close and then just miss the mark entirely.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why I would like to do the Betty Boop cartoon, because I think that I have enough reverence for the past to make it feel true in spirit, and enough energy to make it accessible to a new audience. No. So that was my audition for whoever is making the Betty Boop movie.
For whoever has those rights or whatnot, hire Joanna.
Yes.
Joanna has the right idea.
Call me.
Exactly. And honestly, that love that you have, especially talking about like the history of comedy or whatnot that we talked about beforehand or whatnot, I think that could potentially lend well to the final question I have for you today, Joanna. Obviously, you are deeply entrenched in art in one form or fashion at this point, seeing kind of what you've done up to this point and the fact that this is the thing that you've really wanted to be in for as long as you can remember or whatnot. How important is art, not just for you, but for the world as a whole?
I think the purpose of art is to elevate the spirit. And that doesn't mean everything has to be happy all the time. You can elevate the spirit by just simply feeling feelings fully. I didn't mean for that to be so alliterative. I apologize. But there's an apathy, I think, that's throttling our culture, our society, where it's just so uncool to care. Like, look at all of the superheroes. They're just like, ain't no thing. You know, it's just like, just care about something. It can be something stupid that I don't care about, but I care when other people care about something. So like, I don't care about Star Wars. I don't care about Star Trek. But when I see what's happened to Star Wars and Star Trek, and I see the fans like upset, like I care about their caring about something I don't care about.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, and like the worst thing is when people just disconnect, check out, and stop caring about anything at all. And that is like a death. That's like a slow release poison that will just have you shrivel up from the inside out. And I think, I don't know, I kind of talked myself into a corner here. Does that make sense?
No, honestly, no, I completely understand what you're talking about. It's one thing, like, especially in today's world where it's so easy to feel like it's easy to either be so connected or completely disconnected or whatnot, knowing that there are people out there that are passionate about that stuff, and they're not like listening to it, like at least the people that are in charge of it, they're not like listening. They're not really showcasing that love and that care that got them to this point or whatnot. It's disappointing.
Yeah, it is disappointing. And when I look at the media landscape, like, don't get me started on music right now.
Oh yeah.
Because everything that I hear, it's not that it all sounds the same, but it has this droning, repetitive, monotonous quality to it. Like I don't know if mumblecore is still a thing, but it's like anytime I hear a song that's like, dun, 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 like it's meant to make you numb.
Yep.
And I like there's lots of different kinds of music that I can appreciate even if I'm not a fan of them, because it makes you feel something.
Yeah.
And like, sometimes it just makes you feel annoyed. Like, I grew up with a Macarena. That was really annoying. But it makes me feel something. Although, because of the Macarena, we have one of the best Animaniacs shorts of all time, the Macadamia.
True. So, that is extremely valid.
Yes. And so, yeah, that's what I think art is for. I mean, I don't think that's what... I don't know. I think it's important, and it's so important that I have to stop talking about it so much, because I can be very off-putting about my opinions. But I describe it like this. Like, we have had feasts. We have had banquets. We have had the most succulent, delicious, scrumptious art in our past, and everyone's just eating potato chips, you know? And it's just like, look at what we could do, like with the energy and the like and I'm just babbling now, but it's just like people are so content with distraction when they could be actually elevating themselves, when they could be deepening their connections with other people. when like we just got to stop eating potato chips and just like dig into this beautiful roast or quiche or something
There
like
you go.
savory, delightful, and just stop being satisfied with rot. And, that's the beautiful and terrible thing about the internet. It gives so much opportunity for independence, but it's so much mostly rot, and AI is not helping that.
No, it is not. It is not at the end of the day. But regardless, I think that is wonderfully worded and a very interesting thought at the end of the day, if I do say so myself. Joanna, that is all the questions I have for you today. I've already showered you with the Lord knows how much praise at this point, but I'm gonna shower you just a little bit more because it's my podcast. I do what I want. No, like I said, when we even started this thing, like genuinely, seeing your animations or whatnot, especially Monkey Rag, but seeing your animations was part of the reason why I was even invested in like YouTube indie animation in the first place. Like, honestly, I don't think I would be here talking to you about this kind of stuff if it wasn't for what you put out there when it came to Monkey Rag and such. Like, you were one of the people that truly made an impact on me, and I am forever grateful for that at the end of the day. Getting the chance to actually talk to you right now and get a sense of the journey, the highs and the lows, the incredible stuff that you had a hand in, and the stuff you've been able to put forth and such. It gives me a new level of love and respect for what you've been able to do for years at this point, and it makes me excited for what you're going to be doing for years on out at this point. Like, I'm excited to see what opportunities come your way that you earn and have a hand in and bring into life. I'm excited to see some of the opportunities you're going to make for yourself and some of the new cartoons or whatnot. Like, I know I was joking about the Monkey Rag 2 or whatnot because you said the 4 years thing or whatnot, but like, if I get a chance to see more of that, trust me, I'm going to be enjoying that roast more than anything else. Like, that is not potato chips to me. I am excited for just whatever you get a chance to do next, because I know that whatever it may be, you are going to be knocking it out of the park with a fantastic style at the end of the day. And I cannot wait for that. The long and the short of it is, Joanna, thank you for what you do. Thank you for putting yourself out there like you have, because it's not easy, especially the path that you talked about and the experiences you've had. It is not easy to really put yourself out there like you have, but I think you've done a fantastic job. And I sincerely hope that if people are not already showing that love and support, they need to. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate those beautiful, kind words. Thank you so much. And thank you for talking with me and tolerating my tangents.
Hey, look,
and when
I encourage tangents and rambling on this podcast, so it was par for the course at the end of that day.
Excellent.
Now, if people for some reason are not already following you and want to know why I've been babbling about you for the past hour or so, go ahead and plug your stuff for the people at home. Where can people find more about you and what you got going on?
I am on YouTube at Joanna Davidovich, I think. Pretty sure. And I'm on Instagram as I'm basically myself on all the platforms, Joanna Davidovich or Joe the Zet, because I made up a fan character for Freakazoid when I was in middle school, and I haven't grown up since there. So there. But if I was going to be stuck in a fandom, I'm glad it's Freakazoid.
Right? Oh my God. Trust me, you're going to make me go on another tangent because I love Freakazoid as well. I wish there was so much more that came with that, but like what we got, once again, like that metaphor you talk about, we ate good when we had Freakazoid.
We feasted with Freakazoid. That was incredible. And Freakazoid is such a good example of respecting comedy history, the past, and just riffing on it and crafting something new, and still having actual jokes, like things that pay off. It's just so wonderful to actually be satisfied with a comedy. Exactly.
No, exactly. Totally. And that's definitely going to be a once in a generation cartoon that hopefully more people love and appreciate as time goes on.
I hope so too. It should be more elevated than it is.
Absolutely.
I think Paul Rudd is the comedy genius of a generation that is just, he should have been given more shows.
Absolutely. Trust me, I could not agree with that anymore. Do you have any final words before we do sign off?
Like my favorite words?
Whatever words you want it to be.
Flabbergast. Splendid. Toothsome. I just came across this word. This is a rather toothsome tart, you know? A toothsome raspberry tart. Sorry, I'm being silly for no reason now.
Hey.
I feel like this was a wonderful conversation, and I just thank you again for having me on and chatting with me about cartoons and such, and for all your kind words.
Hey, I need to be thanking you because you're the one taking time out of your day to do this more than anything else. It like I said in the intro, is an honor and a pleasure.
We can keep going back and forth.
I know, right? We could do just another hour just being like, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. But with that, all I have left to say is for the people at home, if you can, please pay your artists.
I second that.
Tell me what's wrong, tell me it's parts in motion. Sing me a song, tell me your eyes can all open. Show me it all, pick me up in the car you drove when you used to call. Show me it all.
Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If this is your first time listening, I cannot tell you how much I truly love and appreciate the fact that you got to this point. Sincerely, this was a fun and very insightful chat that I had with Joanna more than anything else. And it was better than anything I can honestly imagine. And I was imagining a lot. Joanna, if you've gotten up to this point, thank you sincerely for even taking the time to do this amongst everything. I'm not gonna lie, like my genuinely my heart broke when she was talking about Monkey Rag and how everyone else kind of treated it at the end of the day. Because Monkey Rag is something I hold near and dear to me. It's one of those videos that I always constantly think about, and I can't help but love and appreciate. And to hear, at least on an industry level, they're just like meh, essentially. It crushes my spirit. It's moments like that. It's hearing conversations like that is why I'm so glad I continue to do this podcast more than anything else, because I want to make sure that the artists that put in the time and effort that you hear about more than anything else, I want to make sure that they know that they are loved and appreciated, and that people should truly appreciate the work that they've done. I mean, that's the thing when it comes to Monkey Rag more than anything else. Like, yeah, there's obviously the digital stuff. If you go to the link in the description to see her YouTube channel, that was all hand drawn. Like, yeah, it was digitally colored and all stuff like that, but like the animation, that was hand drawn. Page by page, so many forces. I don't know. It's just, it blows my mind that that's more or less like the reaction and the mindset that we're at when it comes to animation in general on a grander scale. I sincerely hope that there are people out there that truly love and appreciate animation more and more, to give opportunities to people like Joanna, because Joanna deserves all the opportunity in the world. She is so talented and gifted with this stuff, sincerely. I mean, with the excitement of projects like what we were talking about earlier with Coyote versus Acme and such, I mean, how can you not? Which, by the way, this episode's coming out like the day before it releases in theaters. I am going to go watch it. And I will give like a quick, no spoiler review on the end of next week's episode. You guys better hold me up to it. Like, if I don't, call me out in the comments for it, because I want to make sure that I let people know that like I truly love and appreciate. And I am a man of my word when it comes to loving and appreciating the arts and loving and appreciating animation. And hearing Joanna and how much she loved and appreciate art and animation just as a whole, the history of it, especially like the history of comedy and animation more than anything else, it makes me hope that there are plenty of incredible opportunities for Joanna in the future, because she deserves so much and then some.